just come to my attention that it has been a little bit too lovey-dovey, mushy-gushy, creative energy over on my channel, and with the spooky season upon us, I just can't have that. So what do you say we rank the Pixar films from best to worst? Ruffle a few feathers along the way. Oh, we'll also draw for our giveaway. So, hurry back.
Just an 80s boy and a 90s teen, going on all things Disney. From mouse to parks and in between, come share the magic with me. La 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 la. Live your life to a Disney tune. Come and share Jake's Disney Afternoon.
Hey Disney Afternoon gang, welcome back to my channel and thanks for returning. If you're new here, my name is Jake and I do all kinds of content including subscription boxes, swaps, hauls, vintage trips, trivia, lists. If it's Disney, we're doing it, so you're going to want to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next Disney adventure. Alright gang, the time has come. It is time for us to rank the Pixar films from best to worst. I get a lot of grief because I don't like Pixar films that much. So maybe I'll just give you a couple of reasons why at the top. I've always said that Pixar is high on concept and low on content, meaning characters are always great, themes and titles even are always great, logos are always great, but a lot of them just don't add up to great storytelling for me. You know how I feel about the traditional animation, and I'm not bitter about the computer thing at all, but I will say now, and I will say forever, that the thing we love about artists is their imperfection. That is the reason why we love Judy Garland's voice. That is the reason why we look at Picasso for his peculiarities. That is why we love the Impressionists for their idea of the thing. The computer animation for me takes out a little bit of the human element because it can round things off and it can, fill in the gaps where that human imperfection is what makes art, in my opinion. Computer graphics are great. I love seeing the innovation and the technology. I just miss my animation, so maybe I'm a little bit bitter as a kid who almost went into animation as a career. I don't know, perhaps I mourn the loss of the thing that I love the most. But storytelling is not great in a lot of the films. It doesn't always add up to me, and that's my biggest problem with Pixar. There's a great quote from Steven Spielberg that I will leave you with before we jump into my list. And it is from the ILM documentary, The Light and Magic, that's on Disney Plus. And if you want to, soothe your creative soul, go watch that thing. It is so amazing, the innovations from Star Wars to Jurassic Park to Pixar that came out of that. Yes, even Pixar, fine. But he said, when the effects become the story, we've lost our way. And that quote smacked me right between the eyes. And there's a whole slew of quotes from other directors, including James Cameron and who's the short little redheaded kid from Happy Days? Anyway, him. Saying things like, we've come so far and people expect graphics and design so much that unless you're telling a good story, you haven't succeeded. So that was encouraging to hear. But I feel like in Pixar, a lot of the innovation was superseded the storytelling. All right, I've rambled enough about my philosophies of Pixar, animation, art, and storytelling. Let's get on to the list. I'm going to rank them worst to best because I figure let's hold off on making the enemies until the end of the video. And there are so few movies that I like. Although some you'll be appreciative of, I've come to learn. All right, number 1 on my list. Any guesses? Go ahead, guess in the comments down below. No? Okay. A Bug's Life. I think the characters are great. I think the storytelling is great. I think computer animation maybe works better on animal than human because really the computer animation captures the human element so perfectly. Anyway, love Pixar. Love Pixar. Wrong. Redo. Love A Bug's Life. It is such a fun movie. The storytelling is great. The characters are fun. Heimlich is probably one of my favorite characters. So that for me sits number 1. Number 2 is Finding Nemo, the original movie. I went through a period right after college when this was coming out, obsessed with this film. At my first teaching job, had all of the plush. I tracked down the rarer plush from international markets. I literally had every character in plush, including like Chum and who's the pink squid, etc., etc., etc. All the fish tank gang, all as plush, and they were all over my classroom. Loved Finding Nemo. It is such an original story. It is such fun characters. The stakes are high. Love it, love it, love it. All right, number 3, a modern film on my list. Yay, Luca. I just thought this story was so sweet and so precious. I love the characters, the friendship. I love the setting. The design I could have maybe taken a little bit. They look like every other Pixar film, but the message was sweet. So, yay, a modern film on my list. Who knew? Number 4 is that where we're on? The Incredibles. Again, another really original idea, and Pixar has no shortage of original conceptual ideas. Not all of them see it through to the end. However, The Incredibles does. And I think it's an excellent film. What a score. Love it so much. That one I often show to my kids at school. We all enjoy that. All right, surprisingly, next on the list, Monsters, Inc. I went back recently and rewatched it. I think probably because Laura was starting to collect her Sully collection, pin collection, and Karen and Andy love this film. And I was like, all right, let me rewatch this. And I was like, you know what? This is a good film. It's not one that I want to collect or one that I have some emotional attachment, but it's an excellent, excellent film. It is well written. The characters are a lot of fun. The stakes are high. And followed right on the heels of that for me is Monsters University. I think as a sequel, it ranks really high. I think it's funny, genuinely funny. And I just think, again, the characters, it reminded me of a really elevated Saturday morning cartoon. Quirky and sort of funky, but really well told. So those two are high on my list. All right, moving along. I forget what number we're on, 7 or something. Ratatouille. Another one that I don't have any kind of real emotional attachment to, but I do think the storytelling is good. I do think the hair pulling thing is a little weird. I think we could have had a better idea for that. But I love the environment. Pixar is always willing to take a chance on a new environment. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes they're like, hey, what if we did a movie inside a cereal box? Yeah. And sometimes it doesn't. But Ratatouille, set in a French Parisian kitchen, it works for me. And it's kind of a funny idea. So that one was higher on this. Ooh, another modern one. Onward. What was the movie that Onward was paired with over the pandemic? There was another film that came out recent, back to back or whatever, that I think I had higher hopes for and was a disaster. I'd have to go back and look. A disaster. And then I watched Onward and I was like, oh, okay. Again, not characters I necessarily relate to, but a really well-told story, a unique universe, except the Manticore woman in her, leather gear. Remember that plush I found at the store? And we were like, who is this for? And then Disney Nessie was like, it's me. I have it in my background. So there's that bit of information. But Onward is original. I think it speaks to the quirkier generation, the more I'm okay being a comic book nerd generation. It's a good film. If you haven't seen it, definitely give it a rewatch. It's worth it for sure. All right, Brave is next on my list, and I have to admit, I haven't seen Brave since it came out in the theater, and I wasn't thrilled with it then, but I was really even more bitter about Pixar in those days. But Brave is a solid film. It is. I always also forget that it's Pixar. It sort of reminds me of like early 2000s, like Treasure Planet, and Atlantis. It feels like it's from the Disney Studios in that sort of experimental time frame. But Brave is a great story, great characters. So anyway, I should rewatch it. Meg, I'm gonna rewatch it for you. All right, recently I was late to the party on this, but Coco. Coco is a good film. It's a little bit on the nose, and maybe that's another issue I take with Pixar sometimes is they kind of slap you in the face with this sort of symbolism. You're like, we get it. We're not morons. I also didn't love that beast thing with the wings, and I know maybe it's part of the culture. It just seemed to come out of left field for me as like a story entity. But it's a good film. It's a great message. I teach kids. I've taught kids whose parents were not thrilled that they wanted to be into art, into music. So like I've seen that story before. So I think it's an important story. All right, this might be the dividing line a little bit between some more good ones on the list than we thought, right? Do I get a little credit? I'm going to be still added in the comments. Fine. All right, next is Toy Story. Toy Story was the one that ruined it all. I think it's a sweet story. I think it's good. I did not like it at the time. I remember my sister really liked it. She's younger than I am, so maybe that's part of it. But I was so immersed in the fairy tale. I wouldn't even say princess land, because they weren't all princesses, but you know what I mean. So this film kind of came out of the, I was like, okay. But I admit, it's a decent film. It's a decent film. Next is Soul. This one may be surprising that it's higher on the list than others that you're thinking that I haven't said yet, or maybe not. I didn't care for it. I thought it was sort of weird and weird for kids, I guess. I don't know. But then I watched it a second time, and I kind of related to the guy, early 40s midlife crisis or teaching in a school, trying to figure out the career he wants to have. So I don't know. Maybe if the other ones I didn't emotionally respond to, maybe Soul I emotionally responded to, while kind of admitting it's a weak film. Yeah, that's where I'm going to leave that one. All right. Wall-E. It's a weird film. It's a weird film. It's a great message. Even fun characters. Eva. But a weird film. I don't know. It's a weird one. Again, concept high, storytelling low. Is there a story? I don't know. A plant grows in Brooklyn or something? I'm not sure. All right. Toy Story 3. Oh, I should mention quickly here, the Cars 2 and 3 aren't on the list because I haven't seen them, and who cares? And Lightyear is not on the list because I haven't seen it. Probably who cares also. Toy Story 3 is next on the list. I got a little emotional at that film. I thought that was a good one. Should have been the end of it. Wasn't. But I thought that was a good film. Finding Dory was a weak sequel, even if the characters were kind of charming. This sort of like cross-eyed seal is funny. Disney has this, maybe Pixar does this sort of like space cadet animal thing, like Hey Hey, and anyway. Toy Story 2 was a good sequel. Toy Story 4 was a terrible sequel. Toy Story 4 was like a series of shorts put together that didn't make sense. It didn't. Forky, poke me in the eye, please, Forky. No, thank you. All right. Inside Out is next. Karen, aren't you glad it's not at the bottom of the list? Inside Out is... what is Inside Out? Inside Out is like a non-linear thing. I don't know. The characters don't make sense. They're controlling her, she's controlling them. It's about memories, and I don't know. It's very convoluted, and I didn't thought it could have been funnier. Lewis Black is one of my favorite comedians, and all he did was just burst into flames. And what's her face from The Office is super funny, but and Amy Poehler, it's got me so worked up I had to have a drink to calm down. All right, Cars is next. I think there are fewer things that I hate more than Cars, so there it is on the list. I would say after Cars would be things like paint drying or scrubbing the toilet, or, you know, walking the dog and cleaning out the litter box. Then the last two films come after those things. Turning Red, what a disaster. Oh, I'm going to get... Go ahead, I know, Seth and Lauren, go ahead, at me in the comments. It was metaphorically all over the map. It didn't know what it wanted to mean. It wanted to mean everything, and dramaturgically, it can't mean everything. Pandas. Angry, angry pandas. All right, last on the list, the most despised of all of the movies, The Good Dinosaur. What the heck? What? I was so angry walking out of that film. So angry. It was slow, and the long sequence of the kid that didn't speak, and then, like, the cowboy buffaloes or dinosaurs? Dinosaurs? I don't even know. They were dinosaurs. Cowboy dinosaurs? No. Worst movie ever. Worse than Turning Red. Good Dinosaur. We forget about it. And I love dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are one of my favorite things. Jurassic Park. Dinosaurs in general. I love them. The Good Dinosaur was bad. All right, well, that is my listing. So go at it in the comments, my friends. Leave me your arguments for all of your favorite Pixars. Leave me your top 3 Pixars in the comments below, unless you feel like ranking them all. But I'd at least like to know your top 3. Like that video and hit subscribe. And before we leave, I almost forgot, we are drawing our giveaway for the Decor box. Thank you to all who have been so supportive in that box, and all the people who have reviewed it so far. We are grateful for your comments. And if you are interested in a Christmas box, you can message me on Instagram at Jake's Disney Afternoon, or send me an email at Jake's Disney Afternoon. A post will be going up soon that'll have all the details if you've missed them. But definitely check out the reviews, because these folks are awesome folks. So I have the last remaining box here. I've got all of my folks on the screen. So we like to do the shuffle once, shuffle twice, shuffle thrice, and then we hit the old spinny spin. Let's get a winner. Who is the winner? Winner chicken dinner. It is Connie Loves Disney. If you don't know Connie, first of all, go check out her channel. She's awesome. She's also currently getting an education in 90s Disney culture. So that's my bonus gift to you, Connie. So Connie, message me on Instagram and send me your address. I want to get you this box in the mail so that you can have some decor up for Halloween. And that's it for today, friends. Happy weekend to you all, and I look forward to seeing you soon on the next Disney Afternoon.